I've kind of been dealing with some loss. Not really like, people dying, but like losing people in my life, and learning to be okay with that.
Wisdom Wayne, so insane. Been through shit you can't explain. Wisdom Wayne, so insane. Tell me what is on your brain. Tell me what is on your brain. Yeah.
What's up, guys, and welcome to season 2 of the Wisdom Wayne podcast. I am your host, Matt Velvet, and today we are talking about saying no. So, yeah, it's good to be back. I haven't filmed a podcast in a while, so this is pretty cool. I'm excited to share some more stories, some more wisdom, experiences I've had, and things I'm interested in, and maybe do some interviews or something. We'll see. But yeah, today I really had it on my mind to talk about saying no. So I was recently at this committee type thing that I'm involved with. And we were talking about starting a new group of people to take charge of the technology side of things. And I was kind of like called out in the middle of the meeting to be involved and whatever. And normally, I'm really, I naturally just want to say yes to everything, but I'm trying to get better at saying no and setting boundaries, which is not easy for me to do. I tend to be like a kind of people pleaser type of person. So I was really proud of myself for saying no. I'm already involved in 2 committees through, my sobriety and, that program I'm in. So, I just don't want to take on too much and become overwhelmed and, burn myself out, because that's something I've done in the past. And it doesn't help me or anyone else involved. I want to be able to provide quality service, and so it's hard for me to do that when I'm overexerting myself. I'm just starting this new job at Santa Fe. I am tutoring for graphic design, so I'm getting back into the swing of things now that I've focused a lot on my sobriety. Done a lot of healing. Now it's time to get back to work, but, I don't want to like repeat the same cycle I was in before, where I got really burnt out because I just said yes to everything. I was kind of just thinking back about, how I've done that so much in the past, and I think it really started in my childhood, just wanting to please everyone. So, I would just say yes. Sure. Yeah. Whatever is easier. And I put other people's feelings or other people's agendas before mine. I'm realizing now, it was a problem with me setting boundaries. A problem with me expressing how I feel. And so that's something I'm kind of working through now. It's been very challenging, something that's a little uncomfortable to, just be open and honest with how I'm feeling and to stand up for myself and to say no to things, because I feel like people are going to be mad at me, or, I'm going to ruin relationships or what have you. But I think it's really important for our mental health and, for our recovery, for our journey, to be a little bit selfish sometimes. And by selfish, I mean just, taking care of ourselves, because, like they say on the airplanes, you have to put your oxygen mask on first before you do it for someone else. So it's kind of like that in life, you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. And make sure that your glass is full before you start pouring into others. And that's something that I'm learning. So I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that. Let me know down below your experience with this kind of thing. But yeah, it's part of the journey. I'm learning, growing, healing. I've been able to, make amends with people and, rekindle relationships, and it's good. Um, you know, and I guess, while I'm talking about this kind of stuff, I'll give you an update on my sobriety. So I am on the 23rd. What's today? I don't even know what today is. At the end of this month, at the end of September, it will be 5 months. My sobriety date is April 23rd, 2025. So October 23rd, which is the day before my birthday, will be 6 months of sobriety if I make it, Lord willing. So yeah, um, almost 5 months in, and things are feeling good. Between the last video, which was my 90 days of sobriety, I believe, 3 months, between then and now, there was a point where I was, thinking about relapsing. And, I felt really guilty and ashamed about that because, I wanted to have like the perfect sobriety, the perfect program, whatever. Was really driven by my ego and how people perceive me. But I'm starting to care less about that and to just, lean into the uncomfortability, not really caring about what people think about me, um, setting boundaries, and learning to say no. So I did not relapse though, so that's a good thing. I'm still sober. I've had a lot of challenges. I had to drop my sponsor. I got a new sponsor though, and he's really cool. I have a really cool sponsorship family, and really loving that. Um, there's some people who I've really gotten close to in the program, and so I'm enjoying that. But challenges arise, and I just have to learn to overcome them in a healthy way. Because before, when challenges came up, I would just drink. It was a real quick solution to my problems, but it was not healthy and not productive and caused more problems. So I'm learning all these tools to keep me from having to do that. And I think with practice, it'll become easier. So I just have to be patient, which is also something that's been kind of difficult. I'm not typically the most patient person, but I'm learning. So yeah, I've just been trying to give myself some grace and, you know, just surrender a little bit and kind of lean into, this feeling. So I have been doing hypnotherapy since I was in LA, which was in May, September now. So I've been doing that for a couple months. And I met my therapist at a meeting in LA, and, you know, it was really cool to do hypnotherapy. It was really relaxing. I have a lot of the recordings of our sessions, so I can play those back and kind of just use them as like meditations or whatever. Um, yeah, I made a video about my hypnotherapy experience, so check that out if you haven't seen it on my channel. But yeah, I just last week, or just this week actually, had to drop my therapist too. Because it just felt like the end, and this particular session, like, we were talking about some controversial things, and I just didn't. That was the first time with that therapist that I didn't feel seen or understood or whatever. It was very uncomfortable, and the vibe was just way off. And this therapist was doing sessions pro bono because she's in school. Um, so she's like getting practice before she starts doing official sessions or whatever. So it was gonna end this month anyways. So it felt like a natural kind of ending. But yeah, I just had to say goodbye to that relationship. So, I've kind of been dealing with some loss. Not really like, people dying, but like losing people in my life. And learning to be okay with that. And learning that, sometimes that's a part of the journey is people come into your life, and then they leave, and that's okay. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. It just means that it's time to say goodbye, and I think that's fine. I experienced that my first 30 days of sobriety with the guy I was talking to who introduced me to sobriety, and yeah, it's just, I can say goodbye to them, but still appreciate the time we had, the things I learned from them. But sometimes it's just time to move on. I've had a lot of idle time waiting for this job to start. Um, and it's part time, so I'm looking for something else as well, but also just kind of like taking my time getting back into working. I went from working 45 hours a week as a manager in January to completely nothing. And um, that's a lot of months to go without working. So it's been like really nice because I've been able to relax, recharge, and focus on my healing and my recovery and sobriety. But also in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, I need to get to work. I need to get to work. So, I've really been. I guess this is like a really good lesson for me too, to rely on my higher power, rely on God, whatever you want to call it, to have some faith that things are going to work out. And I truly do believe things will work out. I just have to have faith and keep taking the right next action and find ways to get out of my mind, get out of these negative thoughts so that I can take actions. But things are really starting to click. And the more meetings I go to, the more people I talk to, the more things are starting to make sense to me. And it's really cool to see that. Because otherwise, I'd be like, what's the point of all this? And I'd probably start drinking again or whatever. I've been trying to start going to the gym more often. I've been going at least a week, I think, at least once a week, trying to increase that. But when I have been going, I've been like going pretty hard. So, you know, whenever I feel sore from going to the gym, I feel like I'm actually doing something, but I need to start going more. And I've been going rock climbing once a week with this guy I met in the program, and we started bringing another guy with us. I've been thinking about getting a membership to the rock climbing gym again, but then I would have two like expensive gym memberships because I go to the like more bougie gym in town, I guess, which is pretty expensive, and the rock gym is even more than that a month. So if I did go multiple times a week, it would be worth it, and I have done that in the past. And if I did keep my old gym membership to the rock climbing gym and just freeze my account instead of canceling it, it would have been like $15 cheaper, but I didn't, so whatever. We're past that. But yeah, it is what it is. Rock climbing's been really cool because it's not only a workout, but like it's problem solving and, like challenging your brain as well because you have to figure out how to climb the different routes. So that's really cool. I'm kind of just like rambling on during this episode, but it's been a while since I filmed a video and I just kind of want to catch you guys up on what's going on. It's been really cool to see my first ever podcast episode, which was about my Ouija board experience. Like getting so many views and just like continuing to be like my number one video, which is pretty cool. So I think I might film some more videos in that kind of area of like paranormal things. Um, I think I might film a video about sleep paralysis and like lucid dreaming, maybe go into that kind of stuff because I find that really interesting. I really want to go see the new Conjuring movie too because I like that series of movies. So I think I might do that. And if I do, I'll let you know how it goes. But yeah, I'm excited that October's coming up, Halloween. My birthday's in October. I just love spooky things and, creepy, macabre kind of things. So, yeah, it's exciting. I kind of wanted to go to Halloween Horror Nights, but I don't know if I will or not this year. So, I want to get a new tattoo. I've been working on this new project. So, hold on. So for those of you who don't know, when I was in college, I started this project called the Vols Book, which was kind of like a magazine style format, kind of art book kind of thing. And, the theme of this one was hot and cold. So it was just like, it went from hot to cold. Excuse me. Everything's like red and blue. And in the middle it's all black and white and coloring book pages. The idea for this one was that you could hang it in a art gallery and it would look like spread across the wall. It would do this gradient from hot to cold. Like the titles and everything at the bottom were inspired by like art gallery placards. Can you see this? It's like having trouble focusing, but yeah, see. So yeah, I was inspired by that kind of theme. You can see Will right here, my friend who I make music with, and Mikey, who was on America's Next Top Model, top 4. He's a really cool guy. But yeah, and that's little me and my team. I really enjoyed this project. Girl, focus. There we go. Yeah, I really enjoyed this project, and it's been a long time since I released this. This was in 2016, so it's been almost 10 years, and I'm making another one. So this next one is going to be centered around my sobriety journey and kind of like transformation. Butterflies are kind of going to be the motif, I guess. And the kind of like title I was thinking of was Born Free, to remind ourselves of like the choices we have and that we're born with the choices in this life. We're born with the choice to decide how our life goes, and we have this freedom from birth. We kind of forget that sometimes, but it's kind of a reminder that you're free. And it kind of goes back into the original idea of this video, which is learning to say no and having the freedom to say yes or no to opportunities, to anything in life, really. So yeah, that's the idea. I want to get a new butterfly tattoo to go along with that. I don't know if I mentioned before, but I was going to say I wanted to get a new tattoo, but it kind of ties it into the whole theme that I'm going here. This ADD kind of theme that I've developed. I would like to get my tattoo artist involved with this project and maybe make a flash sheet with different butterfly tattoo ideas. I think that'd be really cool, and do some kind of event where people can get tattooed for the release of the book. I have photos from... Sorry, I ran out of storage. But yeah, I have all these photos from my first 30 days of sobriety when I was in Hawaii, and then I went to San Diego, Temecula, Tijuana, Mexico, LA. And yeah, so these were all part of my, first 30 days of sobriety, which is part of the pink cloud, as they call it, which is like this euphoric feeling that you get early in sobriety. So it was kind of a magical time, and I wrote something about that to go along with the photos. And I found these like entries I wrote in my notes app on my phone um, before when I was trying to become sober and I couldn't do it on my own. And I totally forgot about all that, but it was really cool to see that, to see how I felt before and to see where I'm at now. So it's kind of like this journey, and it's still evolving. I did a photo shoot recently with someone from the program who's now my sponsor. Sorry, now my supervisor at work. Um, she shot these like cool, vulnerable photos of me on film. And we're just waiting for those to be developed, and she's sending them to me, so I'll have those soon. Um, that was like the first time I did a photo shoot like that, where I was like asked to be a model and like asked to do that, which I really just like snapped into that character, and I think she was kind of surprised, but I just love doing stuff like that. Normally I'm behind the camera, but it was cool being in front of the camera. It was different. So I'm excited to share that. Um, Hopefully I'll be sober the whole year, but if not, then that'll be part of the journey as well. But it's gonna be a year of this journey for myself, and we'll see how it ends up. But yeah, it'll be in print and online. Um, I have some ideas, but not sure exactly what I want to do with that yet. But yeah, that's just what's been going on since I last saw you. Um, but yeah, I'm learning to say no and learning to set boundaries and navigating relationships in sobriety. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you have any ideas of videos you'd like to see, any topics you'd like to have me discuss, any paranormal things you'd like me to talk about, let me know down below in the comments. And until next time, thank you so much. This has been the Wisdom Wayne podcast. I'm your host, Matt Velvet. Goodbye.